story. It's not a great day here in Michigan, but I'd like to go for a drive, so today we're going to talk a bit about answering the question of why. Why would I sell a 2018 car for a 2007? This is the question everyone asks me, and while I don't expect most people to get it, I figured I would take a shot at explaining why. I think this will end up being a two-part episode. In the first part, we're going to talk about what brought me to wanting an RS4, and then the second part will be about how I got this RS4. So, my story with Audi probably starts around 2010, maybe 2011. I grew up in Metro Detroit, so in Metro Detroit it's all about domestics, right? Chevy, Dodge, Ford. But I didn't really have, my dad didn't really teach me to only drive those cars. I could drive basically whatever I wanted. So my first car was a Chevy, but I grew up during the Fast and the Furious days. So after the Chevy, I had some Mitsubishis. I had a Honda, even had an Eagle, which was really a Mitsubishi. But I basically drove whatever car I wanted. When I graduated college, though, I didn't really want to drive all this old stuff. I wanted something new and modern, and I really wanted, for whatever reason, I can't tell you why, I really wanted an Acura TL. So that's what I bought. I bought a 3.5-year-old Acura TL, certified pre-owned with like 30-some thousand miles on it. My plan was to put a little money down, drive it for 3 years while still had some warranty left, then continue to buy certified pre-owned and keep adding money to it every time, take care of the car, and hopefully I continue to have nicer cars every time that were still under warranty and were still rather new. So I drove that car for 3 years, I loved it, and then when it came time to buy the next 2 or 3-year-old car, I decided to test drive a bunch of stuff. I didn't know much about German cars, but I figured I would give them a try because everyone seems to love them. So I drove an E93 series. I drove, I think it's 2 generations old now, Mercedes C-Class. I drove, come on Prius is green, there we go. I drove, what else did I drive? Oh, I drove a B8 A4. No way I could afford any of the S's. In fact, I don't even know if I knew about the S's yet, let alone the RS Audi models or M models or whatever. I kind of had an idea of M's, everybody does, but I don't think I had much in the way of understanding of Audi Sport or RS models. So I ended up buying a TL Type S, 2008. But right around that time, I was leaving work one day. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember it was warm and kind of cloudy like it was today. I was looking off to my right, and in my left ear, this faint but sublime rumble drove past me. And I whipped around, and I saw this really small blue sedan. Now, I don't remember if I knew it was an S4, a B7 S4. I don't know if I like hopped in the car and looked it up, or I went home. I think I may have had to kind of ask around whose it was and figure out what it was, because I don't remember if it had the badge on still before, or maybe I didn't see the badge, I don't know. Excuse me, but immediately I was like, oh man, that is sweet. And sure enough, when we'd have company picnics or whatever, they had like a little small car show and he'd run it through the wash and bring it. That is a sweet car. I love that. It was the dark, I think Nagano blue or whatever it's called. Man, I gotta have one of those. But when I bought the TL, there's just no way that I could afford one at that time. So I didn't. But after having the TLS, about a year, I was like, man, I really want an Audi. I really would like to step it up in terms of build quality, performance, handling. The Acura was fine. It was a good car. It wasn't a German car. And so I started looking and seeing what it would take and how much I think I would be able to spend and how much money I need to save, etc. And sure enough, 2015, I drove the TLS to sell to a guy in Chicago, hopped on the train, hopped on a plane to St. Paul, Minnesota to buy my 2012 Audi S4 Prestige in Misano Red. so excited to buy that car. I forgot to drive it before I bought it. In my defense, they were swapping some tires around. The car had winter tires on it, and they couldn't sell it to me with snow tires, so they had to put the right tires on it. So it wasn't exactly waiting for me to hop in and drive, but I was just so excited to get it because it was perfect. It was nicer than the picture showed. I love that car. We'll end up doing another video on the differences between that car and this one and the B9. But for now, I love that car and I still miss it. In fact, the person who bought my B8 also bought my B9, and he was test driving the B9, and the B8 was sitting out front of my house, and I asked my wife, hey, can I buy the blue one, the RS4, and the red one too? Because I kind of wanted it back. And she's like, no, you can't have two cars, which that's totally fair. No critique of hers, but anyways, I love that car, and that's probably the only car I've ever had so far that I'd be like, man, I really want that car back someday. So fast forward to 2018, I sold that car. I had a company car for 2 years. Then in 2020, it was time to buy another car. I needed to buy a car of my own. I drove the Quadrifoglio, like I mentioned in a previous video. My wife and I rented a Con Turbo in Seattle. We went on vacation 1 year through Turo. I drove, at that time, the brand new, was it the G20? BMW M340, the 3 Series. I drove the C43 Mercedes, and then I drove the B9 S4. Oh, and I also drove X3 M40i. And they're all good cars, but to me, I just really liked the Audi. The M340 was close, but it was 10 grand more because it was basically brand new. There weren't many used ones left, so that one was going to be a lot more, and I thought the Audi was a better car for less money. And so I bought the B9, and to be honest, I had every intention with the B9 of that just being a regular car. I had kind of grown out, at least I thought, of detailing and being really picky and, you know, being very specific. We had a little girl on the way, and I just felt like I had outgrown that whole car thing. So I thought the B9 would be a good car, but, you know, it would just be something that I would drive and replace it. Well, 2 weeks after I took delivery from Washington State on the B9, COVID happened, and I had nothing else to do. And not only that, I worked from home, so I detailed it a ton. I was meticulous with it. I didn't have anything else to really do, so I just kind of went back to what I was used to, which was just kind of monkeying around with cars. And about a year later, I'd say 2021, it became apparent that working from home, this might be permanent. When I bought the B9, I considered an RS4 like this because they were finally somewhat in my price range. But I didn't really want to deal with the manual as a daily. I didn't want to deal with the extended maintenance and costs of running this. I drove about 14,000 miles a year. And to be honest, I didn't want to put that much on a car like this, especially if I found a low mileage one. I felt like I would just drive the value off of it. But with COVID, all that changed. I didn't have to worry about that anymore because I only put 9,000 miles on the B9 in like 2.5 years. So that's not a bad idea. That's for getting an RS4. I can do that. 9,000 miles in a couple of years. That's enough to enjoy the car, and then maybe give it to the next owner. So in March of this year, I seriously started looking to buy an RS4. I like the B9. I wanted something different already, even though I hadn't driven it that much. And so I started looking seriously. I made some calls, etc., and we'll talk about that more in the next episode. But for now, I was ready to go out and see if I could pick up the right RS4. So that is the story from hello Audi to let's go find an RS4. We'll cover how I got this car next episode, but for now, thanks for watching.